a check bigger than all these other niggas.
Hey, what's wrong, guys? Dignal. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the effect you have just seen on screen. Before we get into the video, I'd just like to remind you guys to please do that like and that subscribe button between the video, so leave a comment down below in order to help me make more money. So yeah, with that being said, let's get right into the video. So as you can see right here, I have my two beats lined up as well as the main beat. So there should be something along the lines of this in the music that you are working with. If you don't have this, then the effect just won't work. I have synced up the clip so that the shot is on the last beat right here. We're going to change that in just a minute, but this is the setup that I want you guys to start with. So the first thing we're going to do is actually just go back here to a bit before the first beat, probably like this, probably. And what we're going to go ahead and do is actually sync up the clip so that we can actually see the character. So we're going to have it be sort of like this, where the character is clearly visible. There is nothing in between the actual characters, and that there is like a clear open space for the numbers to drop down. After that, we're just going to go ahead and sync it up a bit further, just drag it out just like that. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is head into our video effects tab and search for Twixtor. Now you can just go ahead and copy my settings right here. They should just be here. You can pause the video, do whatever. But what you're going to want to do is just keyframe speed. And you're going to go to right here where the ramp just sort of disappears. You're going to add a keyframe. You're going to go 2 frames back. You're going to add a keyframe. And you're going to drag this forward 2. Then right here, you're going to set this to 30. And just make sure that the character is not shooting right here. So if you go to the last keyframe, or the last marker where you have the impact, and the character is already shooting, then you need to decrease the speed of this Twixtor. So let's go and half it to 15. Let's see if we still have the same problem. We don't. We want to get this as close as possible to actually firing without actually firing. So I think 20 is going to be good for us. We're going to go to the last marker. We're going to go 6 frames back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and add a keyframe here. Set this to slow. Go to that marker right there and just drag this up until the number is clearly visible, just like that. We want the numbers to be very clear. We want it to be very, very easy to mask out, most importantly, and we want them to look exactly like that. So after that, we're going to go 1 frame forward, and we're going to set this to 50. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is actually render all of this out. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, just render them out with the best settings that you can. You want this to be as good looking as possible, because this render will end up going back into your project. And if you render this in shit quality, then it will look shit in the final render. So do remember to render this on high bitrate, high resolution, whatever. I'm just going to name this 0810 tutorial, T, whatever. And I'll render this out, and I'll see you guys when this is done. Alright, now once you've gotten the render, just go ahead and re-import it back into Vegas. Go ahead and press U on it. Just go ahead and delete the audio track. You go ahead and delete this video track. Just press U on that, delete it. Drag this back over, and just go ahead and regroup these by control-clicking on both of them and then pressing G. I'm going to go ahead and trim this last part right here because we don't really need that. Now, once you have done all of that, just go ahead and delete the audio track right here so that it doesn't overlap and cause any issues. And now what you're going to want to go ahead and do is go up here, just add velocity on this. Just go ahead and duplicate that, just make it a new video track and control drag that up. Go ahead and delete the velocity from the bottom one. And now what you're going to go ahead and do is just double click here and then go forward like nothing, and then set the velocity to 0%. Then go ahead and split it right there. Now the reason I didn't right click and click on freeze on frame cursor is because I'm pretty sure Vegas 14 under doesn't have that, and also it's a bit bugged for me right now. But just make sure that it is frozen right there. So now what you're going to go ahead and do is, once you have this frozen keyframe right here, or this frozen frame, is just duplicate this twice once more. So we want 1 for each number right here. If this says like 18 or something, you're only going to want 2 layers, but it does say 189. So we're going to start just actually masking these out. So let's start off with the 1 right here. I would advise you guys to actually do this very carefully, because this is going to look extremely bad if you are being sloppy with this. So I highly would recommend that you actually take this seriously. So we want 1 for every layer. We don't want to do everything in 1 layer. So the first layer up here is going to be the 1, and then we have the second one that's going to be the 8. So just make sure that you are enabling mask and then clicking on the first frame right here. Then just zoom in and just go ahead and click on the pen tool right there, and then just go ahead and mask out the 8. So I am being a bit sloppy right now. I do realize that, but it is a tutorial for me, and the thing I'm making right now won't be the actual preview. So for me, it doesn't really matter. But I would advise you guys to be very, very careful here and to be as accurate as you can. So yeah, for this, I'm just gonna make an oval because fuck it. I don't really feel like spending a lot of time on this mask. Obviously, you will want to. I cannot stress that enough. But yeah, fuck it. We have the mask now. So now we have 3 of these to split up. If we go and just mute this, we should have a 189 right there. So now what you want to go ahead and do is actually drag the 1 back here. We're going to drag the 8 back in the middle right there. And we're going to drag this just sort of right there. So we want it to be sort of looking like this, I feel like. So the end should be sort of like there. And then we want to drag that out to the end and see with that. So we should have this sort of layout. We actually, on this first one right here, we want to split it where the actual Twixtor starts. And then we have this. We want to split that sort of in the middle. And then we want to do the same here. So the reasoning for this is we want to give the numbers a bit of time to actually drop down before the beat right here. And we want to do this for all of them. But at the end right here, we're going to make sure that there are no numbers. And just make sure that once you actually get into the impact, that there is no noticeable shift in the numbers right there. So as you can see, they transition perfectly into the actual impact. So now what we want to go ahead and do is actually just apply blur mode curves to these. So just search for blur mode curves in your video effects tab. Just go and drag a default onto this. Just go ahead and shift the Y so that it goes up above the screen. That'll be sort of like that for me. And then go down here, set this to 0, and set this value to fast. This should look so like that. So obviously you can't play around with the values and such, but I do think that about halfway through will be fine. And in the frames, that'll be roughly 15 frames. So yeah, just try to make it roughly 15 frames. If you don't quite like the look of that, you can always play around with the amount of spacing in between these keyframes. But once again, that is completely up to you. So I'm going to go here, just keyframe shift Y. I'm going to go 15 frames back, so that'll be like right there. I'm going to shift that up just like so. And I'm going to keyframe that, add a keyframe. And just make sure that you delete the first one, that is just 0. Then you go down here, 0, and you set this keyframe to fast. So now it should look like this. Just like that. And now we do the same thing on this last one right here. So we might as well just set this to whatever that is. I can't really tell. So this is 19 frames long, so we're going to go 4 frames in. We want to add a keyframe right there. We set this to 0, and now we set this to fast. So if we just play this back, it should look like this. Just like that. Now, what you're going to want to do after you have done this is actually to split the clip on the kill right here. There should not be any Twixtor on this bottom track, so you shouldn't really have an issue with that. And then just go ahead and apply your impact. Now, there will be some free impact and beat checks in the comment section that are actually pretty good. So if you don't have any of your own, then do feel free to download those and use those for this tutorial. So now once you've got that, we should have something that looks like that. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is actually render all of this out once again in good settings. So we are going to drag this back in, and we're actually going to have to render this out quite a few times here. We want to render this out once for every number. Now I know this kind of sucks, but this is what we have to do because Vegas does not have any adjustment layers, unfortunately. Now just go and press the S tool right there, go ahead and delete the audio track, and it should look like that. So now what I'm going to show you is just using this sort of beat shake. So this should be over at beat shake 22F. This is one I actually use. Just go and go 22 frames back after this marker. So this is 33. We want to go to 11, I'm assuming. Then we drag this preset on there. And now we can just check if the pre-shake is actually stopped 22 frames before this last one. So let's go back 22 frames. That'll be to 18. And there actually is no movement, so we can actually apply this twice in the same render, which is very, very lucky. But we do want to make sure to split it on the kill so that we don't transfer over any of the effects right there. So now we should have something that looks like this. Yeah. And essentially what we're going to do now is actually just render this out one more time. So this is quite annoying, obviously, but I have already talked about this. Let's do tier 2 right there. Open folder, drag that back in, delete the audio track, press S on that, and then just delete that. Now we go 22 frames back from this, so that'll be 46, 44 right there. Oh, fuck. And then drag that on there. So now we should have something that looks like this. Let me just go ahead and make sure. just like that. And now we go ahead and render this out one more time. Open folder, there we go. And we're gonna go ahead and drag this back in on top of all of that. If it works, yeah, great. And delete the audio track once again, uncheck that, check that. And now we have all of those. So now what we're gonna go ahead and do is actually make a new video track right there. Go ahead and control paste that up, press the S button on that as well. And we're going to go 15 frames back here. So we're going to go here, 18 right there. We're going to split that right there. We're going to go 15 frames forward from this as well. So that will be like 58, I think. No, it'll be 48. And now once we've got this, we can actually just go ahead and fade those in like that. We can go ahead and control paste this. Actually, no, we can't. What we're going to go ahead and do is just press or just make a new video track again right here. Just go ahead and press the S button on that as well. Go and control shift this up. Go and click it right there. Just eyeball it, I guess. Then just go and fade this back in like that. Go ahead and drag that up. Then just go and do that one more time right there. Just go ahead and split it right there. Do that. And we have that now. Now we can go ahead and delete this track. And now we should have waves just sort of like that. So now once we have that set up, we actually only need to apply one Magic Bullet Looks preset. So this Magic Bullet Looks preset is going to be called number isolation right there. And the preset for this will be in the description. So essentially, in order to actually import this, you're going to go to your Windows tab. You're going to search for percentage app data percent right there. We're going to head over. That's not the right folder. We're going to head over up here. We're going to go to app data. Then we're going to go to local. And now we're going to scroll down until we see something called Looks Builder right there. We're going to go into Looks. We're going to go to Custom. And we're going to drag that into here. Then just go and restart your Vegas. And we should have this. Now, if you don't have this, just click on default. Just drag that in. And then look for the preset on the left-hand side. But like I said, I do have this. So I'm going to go ahead and apply number isolation to all of these, just like so. And I'm going to show you guys sort of how that looks. So as you can see, if they do end up turning green for some fucking reason, just go ahead and adjust it a bit. Obviously, it's not perfect, and I genuinely have no clue why the fuck it is green. Yeah, I think it has to do with the actual color correction. If I go ahead and apply my CC to this, it probably is not green. Yeah, exactly. So just make sure you have a pretty saturated CC, I guess. And yeah, that's really all you need to do. Now, once you've done that, it does look like this, and it is quite cool. So yeah, the project file for this will be in the description, if you are interested in that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to down below, comment, subscribe, all the good shit. And I'll see you guys in a couple days, and peace.